Now that we've learned about the grip, let's learn about the proper posture in the golf swing. Most leading teachers in the world believe that posture is 90% of the golf game, and I certainly agree. Proper posture allows you to swing freely around that arc that's natural for you, back and through, back and through, just like this. Now let's talk about the steps to good posture. Your feet should be shoulders width apart and your weight balanced. You don't want your feet too wide apart, therefore you can't turn, nor do you want your feet too close together. You'll lose your balance. We want our feet shoulder width apart and the weight in the balls of your feet. For women, I prefer the weight to be more inside the right foot. This will enable you to make a smooth turn back to the right side and a smooth forward swing. Because the grip of the left hand is higher on the golf club, your left shoulder will naturally be higher than your right. Therefore, this natural tilt will also help you to swing back smoothly to the backswing and smoothly to the forward swing. Watch carefully how well balanced I am in my stance. Now that we've learned how wide our feet should be, let's go over some of the angles of the posture. Angles to me are very important in the posture, particularly the back angle. What we want to do is bend slightly from the waist with our knees slightly flexed. See how this creates a nice angle here at your pelvis? This will allow your arms to hang naturally from your body. We don't want to stand too tall or squat down because look at my back angle there. I cannot take the club back properly. Nor do we want to bend over too far. This will cause the club to go too upright. Okay? So what I like to do when I teach people, I say check your tail feathers. It's just as if you're a rooster. And it's as if your tail, the tail feathers in your rooster stance position here, are at a slight angle down toward the ground. If your tail feathers are too far out, they'll stick straight up. And if you're squatting too much, you will not be able to take it back properly. So you'll notice by the slight angles of my knees, the bend at my waist, and my tail feathers, this creates a nice natural back posture here. The important thing with back posture and the angle here is that throughout my golf swing I can maintain this posture. Watch, when I hit this ball I will be looking at you, and just because I've maintained my back angle I can still hit this golf ball. Remember to keep your chin up. This will allow you to take a nice full shoulder turn away from the ball. If your chin is down, this will restrict your shoulder turn. So keep your chin up and take a nice smooth swing. Just like that. But remember, check your tail feathers. Here I want you to notice how the angles of my body allow my shoulders to turn and swing the club back and through freely.
And posture is you just don't want to be bent way over too far, you don't want to be too straight, any of those things. Here's what good posture is. Stand up straight, start all over, stand up as straight as you can, bend over a little bit at the hips, and then pop your legs like this. In other words, you want a little more bending at the hips than you do in the knees. You don't want a lot of knees or a lot of hips. You want about twice as much bending in the hips. Now I say hips because a lot of people don't bend at the hips. They keep the hips straight up and down and they bend over here. So running through that again, take your stance, bend over at the hips like this, stick your rear end out, arch your back, whatever you want to call it, then pop your legs a little bit. This gives you good balance. Then what it sets you up for is for your arms hanging straight down. This is what you're looking for. You don't want your arms out here to hit the shot. You don't want them in here where they're going to be in the way of your body. You want to be bent over just enough so the arms hang down, straight down, and that's where you hold the club. It's in a natural place. Again, once you have a natural grip facing a target, your arms are hanging in a natural place so you can make that nice turn and return to that same spot.
That sounds good, Al. I like, one of the things that I like about, address that ball on, is the good straight position from here where his back is straight and he's standing tall, where his head is up and his shoulder can work underneath his chin. So
not a lot of people do this.
Yeah. So by his chin being up and standing tall, he has a nice free area to work underneath his chin.
Well, I'm going to come around here and show a little more of the setup going this direction here. First of all, when you stand up to the ball position, where do you play? Well, start with both feet together so you have something to relate to. Take your left foot and go forward and your right foot backward. Now, I usually play most of my shots just forward to center. But if you're going to do it right in the middle, you would go equal distance. But anyway, this gives you something to relate to. So, I do it just forward to center, so I'm going to move my left foot less than my right foot. Now, I have my good posture. Now, this is really critical, and this is when a good player will watch an average player right away and say they're set up wrong, they can't hit the ball. And here's something to look for. Watch all the good players, and you'll see in their setup, you might say their right side is lower than their left side, and that's because your right hand on the grip is lower than your left hand. So your right knee is lower than your left knee, your right hip is lower than your left hip, and your right shoulder is lower, and of course your right hand is lower. And the reason for this, so when you make your turn going back, your left side stays higher. It makes a nice turn and come back, where if it starts out lower, you end up going down, and then you end up rising up out of the way, and we don't want to do that, of course. So tuck your right knee in. You'll see all the good players do this. They tuck that right knee in so it's lower than the left. Drop your right shoulder. How does that look, Jim?
That looks very good, Al. One of the things that this right knee does, in tucking in his right knee, it keeps him over his right leg when he makes his backswing, where he doesn't get a turning motion or a sliding motion.
Well, a lot of people will do this, and as they go back, the right knee goes over there. We don't want to do that, do we? We want to keep this knee in here so that when you make your left side turns around the right, this right leg serves as a good brace. Like so.
One of the things that's also induces when Al addresses the ball, as he spoke about this angle of his knees, his hips, and his shoulders, what that basically does is takes his backswing back low, in a low arc, and lets him work up with his body through the ball. This way he can work on up through the ball, and whereas if you took the club in the opposite position, he's working his body down through the ball. So even though the club is swinging, his body is kind of working up through the ball. And he's setting in that position with his left shoulder high and his right shoulder down, in a good strong position where he's up against the shot real good with his left side here. Okay. So there's a very strong position and a good solid setup.
Same place. You can blow a hat over those.
Yeah. Tom, what's the purpose of your waggle there? You did a little one waggle job that time.
Yeah, mainly just to kind of loosen myself up a little bit. You know, it's kind of like you going up to the free throw line. You wouldn't just walk up
take
there.
Take a couple dribbles?
You sit there and try to relax yourself with a dribble, sometimes a deep breath.
Do you always do it, or do you recommend that we do it? Or?
I always do it. I think that all the good players do it. It's just a way of relaxing yourself. You know, I'm sure the nearest thing to playing golf in your sport would be the free throws. That's the only chance that you have of really becoming static, of getting nervous, allowing tension to creep in. And as long as you can stay in motion, you know, dribble the ball, get up here, set yourself just a little bit for a half a beat, and then shoot, then you've got a good shot of making it. But you know, the worst thing you could do would be to get up here and then all of a sudden freeze. Because now you're allowing tension. The longer you stay static, the tenser your muscles can get, the tighter you get,
anxiety comes
and pretty soon you get to where you're frozen, and then your first move is to jerk the club away like that.
You're watching my tapes, huh?
Was it Doug Ford that said miss them quick?
Miss them quick, that's exactly right.
What is the first move?
First move